Yeah, when we were watching some of the videos that saying, okay, your memories of childhood,
Toys.
these kind of things will always come up. But we do have these kind of, wind-up toys that are made of tin, but they're not in shape of frog. Yeah, they could be something like action figures or transformers. These things are more likely to be the ones that we have.
It's not his age.
My son doesn't have that. My son has wind-up, what is it, a chick or a rooster?
Well, actually, this wind-up toy made of tin, often shaped like a frog, that hot when wound up. It does reflect a nostalgic piece of toy history, but the reason I'm mentioning it is because actually, if you take a look at the history of this specific toy, you will see that it was created in the early 1900s, and it specifically is a tin factory. So originally they were making these tin containers for food, and they were very successful, and they wanted to find a way to recycle the raw material of these tin cans, and that is the time they figure out to make these kinds of tin frogs. And it's not only tin frogs, they also have these tin, the jumping chicken, the jumping duck, but apparently the jumping frog was the most iconic one, yes. But the reason that these toys stopped being so popular is that people believe that these metal objects can be a little bit dangerous for kids, because after that period, kids' toys started to evolve to electric, to also some smarter ones, including remote control 4-wheel drive electric off-road toy. Those cars! Do you have a memory in that area?
Of course, one of the reasons that these kind of things were so popular back then was we had a lot of cartoons in TV, and then these 4WD or 4-wheel drive cars were so popular among elementary school students, and the cartoon, I think it was called 四驱兄弟, or English, 四三兄弟, let's go! Kids could buy all kinds of these different parts of the cars to assemble their own unique, meaty 4WD cars, and even give them custom names. And one popular one, I think you have to know, is 冲锋战士, which is Magnum in the cartoon, yeah. I think every boy won one, the blue, fast, little 4WD car. And even in schools, they try to make students to be creative. They will offer some of these tracks for you to run these 4WD cars, and students can actually compete with each other with their own cars, with their own names.
I could tell we are generations apart. I remember the animation being aired on Sichuan satellite TV, and whenever it was on, I would try to be there in front of the TV and to follow the storyline. But I don't remember there being the infrastructure for young kids to enjoy playing these 4-wheel drive toy cars. In fact, I don't think my family could afford to buy one for me. There really was no place, and even as I was able to borrow one from a fellow friend who was better off, I don't think there was a place around the cars. The floor, the infrastructure wasn't exactly there.
Well, I beg to differ, because in 1996, actually, all the toys, which was the most iconic and most successful company producing these toy cars, actually in cooperation with the General Administration of Sport, the Science and Technology Commission, the Communist Youth League, and other government departments, held 11 editions of the Audi Cup Mini 4WD Racing Championship for youth.
Wow.
And that, alongside the animation Yushen has talked about, were part of their campaign, advertising for their cars. So you would guess it was because that the animation got so popular and the toy company started to producing their cars. No.
It was the other way around.
It was the other way around. It was precisely because the company wanted to promote their toys. They introduced the animation from Japan. So the reason I think it's a very important and interesting case is that we get to see from that point on, we see all these toy companies in China starting to finding ways to be innovative, to basically create a market. But it's not creating, the market is always there, or at least the need is always there.
Well, the market was growing. I don't think, Yushan and New Holi, perhaps you guys were from urban areas, better off parts of the country, but in the small county where I grew up, I don't think there's much demand for that kind of toys. I could think of was kind of what Yushan mentioned earlier, these little pictures that we can flip and try and we try to make use of every little detail that we can lay our hands on in our everyday life. The marble games we can buy with the marbles from the Chinese chess. So the reason why rolling iron was popular for a time was because it was very easy to fashion out of metal objects, and any parent with the patience would be able to do that. So it was a different kind of life experience, obviously, that I have lived as compared to what you guys have experienced.
Yes, I agree. I think the need for play is always there. Yet the market for toys or even for e-games that we are about to discuss a bit later is created. It's the kind of supply-side reform that's happening in the world of play. And apparently our generations are benefiting from this kind of reform. And we see that by the year 2000, China was manufacturing 75% of the world's toys, with most of the factories concentrated in Guangdong and other areas like Jiaxing and Zhejiang. These places are creating and exporting toys to around the world, providing kids with different ways to enjoy their leisure time, apparently. And there are the kind of toys that have been there, but are evolving alongside time. I'm talking about Legos. But in the Chinese concept, we're not precisely calling it Legos at the very first place. We call them jimu, the little blocks.
Blocks, yeah.
Yes, the blocks you put together and create your own buildings and architectures.
Right. Even with that, with the wooden blocks, which were not exactly international, much like the Lego brand, which is known worldwide. Even with the wooden blocks that were produced domestically, you can see on the patents, the buildings that were intended to be built with these wooden blocks are always Western. And it's only in recent years that we explored the market for more Chinese-style, traditional Chinese-style architecture and building blocks.
Oh yeah, and also I think something that was quite international with the building blocks is the tangram, or the 7-piece puzzle. People can use different shapes of puzzles to create different styles of puzzles. And I think that is why these kind of entertainment forms were just as popular as before and now, because, just like Lego, it's been there and it is still there, right? It's just because its uniqueness and iconic status have made these kind of things just stay, and kids are still loving it. And nowadays, Lego is not just a toy, I think. When we're discussing the specific brand of building block, it is an industry chain of Lego, like toys and also education and entertainment. All of these have become the core businesses of this brand. For example,